Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Jennifer's Tale, My Life as a Crossdresser. I, of course, am Jennifer, and if you are new to my podcast, I give you a very warm welcome. Thank you for checking out this podcast, checking out this episode. If you came across this one, chances are you're a crossdresser like myself. You are a guy who enjoys wearing women's clothes. Maybe you're ashamed of it. Maybe you kind of keep it secret from the world. I want to tell you, you are not alone. You know, there's plenty of other girls out there just like you. And that's what this episode or this podcast is all about. I've been a crossdresser all my life, and within the past 5 years, I've really come to terms with the female side of who I am, and I want to share warmth, kindness, love, compassion, all that to my fellow sisters out there. That's what this podcast is all about. It's me sharing my thoughts, hopes, dreams, desires, my life. I'm an open book. You know, I share my stuff freely with everybody, just so that way you know you are not alone. You know, you may be just starting out on your cross-dressing journey. Maybe you're somebody who's been cross-dressing for ages and you just want to reach out, want to have contact with others. That's what this podcast is about. That's what this video is about. And do me a favor, right below my picture here, please like and subscribe to my podcast. Please, if you're new, check out previous episodes. There's plenty of material out there for you to watch and comment on, and enjoy this episode. If you're listening to this as an audio podcast, whether it's on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, wherever you download your favorite podcast, everything I just said applies to you as well. If you are a crossdresser, maybe you're a wife or a girlfriend, a significant other, just a general friend of a crossdresser and want to know more about your friend or your spouse, that's what this podcast is all about. I think it will help you out a great deal as well. Please, if you're listening, like and subscribe to this podcast. That brings up the numbers. It makes it so that this podcast gets found by more people. And the bigger the community, the better off we all are. So with that out of the way, let's get into this episode. This episode is entitled All About Music. Now, I don't know about you, but music is a pretty substantial part of my life. You know, I never learned to play an instrument. I do enjoy singing along with songs. I sang quite a bit when I was in school. But music plays a big part of my life. And I know if I go out as my male self, no matter where I go, I'm either listening to podcasts or I'm listening to music. And in my guy mode, my music tastes gravitate towards what I listened to when I was a kid, you know, or teenager, young adult. What I would classify as kind of, you know, classic rock. Stuff from the 70s, 80s, 90s, some 60s thrown in, that kind of thing. And that's what I always listen to. If you ask my kids, they'll tell you that Dad loves his classic rock, and there's no way that he likes, you know, modern day contemporary music. You know, when we're in the car and Dad's driving with the kids, Dad gets say in what is on the radio or what music's playing. When Dad and Mom are in the car, Mom has control of the radio, and my wife likes listening to contemporary stuff. She goes back a little bit sometimes, but she prefers more of the contemporary stuff. That's the radio station she listens to. And I'm just driving, you know, until we get out of range of her station. Then I can kind of choose what I want. And but she usually, when that happens, will turn it so that she can hook it up to her phone, and then she can just play whatever music she wants. Anyway, I don't know about you, but I can attest to the fact that when I am Jennifer, when I go and get in my car and go out driving wherever, going shopping, whatever, my music tastes have changed lately. You know, I put on my wife's radio station. I listen to contemporary music. After all the time of driving around with my wife and listening to the songs, I know the songs. I've heard them, and as Jennifer, I'll admit, I enjoyed quite a bit of the music that's on there. And for me, getting into that feminine role, once I'm all dressed up and looking pretty and ready to go out and enjoy myself, part of what I do when I get in the car is I change the radio station from my classic oldies to contemporary. And I'll find myself singing along, and there's quite a few artists that I really enjoy. I would say probably top of the list, the artist that I listen to the most to get me into feeling feminine and feeling girly is Dua Lipa. I love her songs. they have a really good, strong kind of dance beat. In no way, shape, or form am I a dancer, but I do enjoy her songs. I like her lyrics. I like the beat of her songs, and that's the artist that does it for me. You know, I will admit I'm also kind of a Swiftie. I enjoy Taylor Swift from time to time. She has quite a few good songs and ones that I can kind of relate to, and they make me feel good about myself and feel good about being feminine or being a woman. Sabrina Carpenter is somebody who's new on the scene, or fairly new, and I really enjoy her as well. Her songs are kind of more in the funny vein, I would say. You know, the lyrics are kind of more humorous, which I like, but I do find myself singing along to her songs and kind of relating to her songs as well. Chapel Rowan is another one. I really enjoy her because of her stance on LGBTQ rights and support. Sabrina Carpenter does that too. Actually, all these artists I think do to one extent or another, which makes me like them even more. But Chapel Rowan, she is totally kind of over the top and out there. I can definitely see why like drag queens would be supportive of her and like her stuff. I enjoy her stuff as well. There's other artists I think I like a little bit better, but those are probably my top 4 female artists. As far as male artists go, I really don't have a lot of favorite male artists. I don't know, it's because I'm trying to be more in my feminine role, so I'm listening to more feminine music, or if it's just I don't like them as well. But it's stuff I've listened to over and over on the radio, like I said, when I'm driving around with my wife. So I do find myself singing along with them. But all in all, changing the type of music that I listen to changes my feeling inside, changes kind of my musical soul, and it allows me to express my femininity a little bit more in a different way, and kind of adds to the whole what I'm feeling as I'm out as Jennifer. I don't know if you out there have thought about that or if you do it as well, but I encourage you to give it a try. You know, if you get dressed up in your feminine attire and you're looking as pretty as you can, and you go and hop in your car and head down the road going wherever, bookstore, shopping for clothes, whatever and you are listening to the music you normally listen to as your male self, try changing the radio station. Try finding something different. Try finding current contemporary stuff. For me, does it. Maybe it would for you as well. I encourage you to give it a shot. Or if you already have and you agree with me or have some suggestions of people or artists I should listen to, feel free to let me know. There's plenty of easy ways for you to do it. You can comment on this video, tell me your favorite artist or favorite song, send me a link on iTunes. I can listen to it that way. Leave me a comment on my Facebook pages. I have 2 of them. First one is the page for this podcast, which is Jennifer's Tale, My Life as a Crossdresser. And then you can also find my personal page on Facebook, which is Jennifer Hangartner, Hangartner. That's my personal page. Feel free to send me a friend request, leave me a comment on there about this podcast episode. And last but not least, you can send me an email the old-fashioned way and send it to Jennifer's Tale Podcast. That's all one word, no spaces, at gmail.com. I hope to hear from you. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you found it of interest. And until next time, this is Jennifer saying hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.